Lauren, let's start with tonight's main event. So, the following topic is scheduled for one fall and is for the casual wrestling podcasting title because the topic is, you find a wrestling magic lamp and you are granted 3 pro wrestling wishes. Lauren?
Okay.
Give me one wish. You get a lamp, you can make anything you want come to fruition in professional wrestling.
Chelsea Green is the women's champion.
World champion. Just immediately.
Yep.
Just Booker is world champion.
Yep.
I have 3 wishes that go a little deeper than what you just gave us.
Okay.
Right there, okay? So allow me. I rub my magic wrestling lamp, and I imagine a genie comes out, and I imagine he looks like the Big Show. For some reason, my genie looks like the Big Show, okay?
Yeah.
And he says, I'm going to grant you 3.
Is he blue?
He's blue. Yeah, he's definitely blue. Got to be like Disney genie.
Yeah, it's the only way to do a genie.
I'm going to give you 3 professional wrestling wishes. And number 1 is I'm going to wish for Montez Ford and Bianca Belair to both turn heel and come together to create a faction of the WWE Power Couple, okay? Mm-hmm. And Bianca wins the women's WWE title and Montez wins the men's WWE World title. But on top of that, they join forces with Nick Aldis, okay?
Okay.
And we go back to a time where we have one overarching villain on SmackDown. We have a new Vince McMahon, a power hungry. How you do this is you have at some point you have TKO, The Rock, somebody from TKO come out and basically say, look, we have lost faith in Triple H. We've lost faith in the board of directors. We are granting absolute power on SmackDown to Nick Aldis in some form of corruption. And then Nick Aldis goes on to recruit Bianca Belair, to recruit Montez Ford, to say, I need you guys to be the faces of SmackDown. But then he just creates these just unethical, unfair advantages for them where they become this power couple and they're very narcissistic and very cocky. And they're on top for a very long time until we build up 2 new superheroes who will come in and take down this authority structure.
Okay.
Does that make sense to you?
I'm in. I think I get where you're going. So the way that I equate this is like it's kind of like with the Authority, where how they were with like Seth Rollins, where he was like their go-to guy.
Yes.
And then at one time, I remember there being like a head manager of wrestling, like each show.
Yeah. Right now we have 2 general managers, but which
is kind of confusing to me. But
they're like in kind of a pyramid structure where they take like orders from the board of directors and Triple H and TKO.
Yeah.
I want, for some reason, storybook reasons, why wrestling's fun, right? We could come up with a fun reason.
Yeah, for sure.
They lose faith in like SmackDown and they go, Nick Aldis, we need you to be the authority figure of SmackDown. And there's nothing that stops you from making the matches you want. You don't have to run things up a ladder. And that power gets to Nick Aldis and he begins to create this faction that is led by Montez Ford and Bianca Belair as his 2 champions.
Yeah.
Nick Aldis is great because he can actually wrestle as well. So as this power structure is being taken down, you could have somebody like a Randy Orton, like a Cody Rhodes, who begins to build on the other side that superhero team that is ultimately, but let's run this for like a year. Let's continuously have Montez being given these just ridiculous odds and keep the Street Profits together. Make D'Angelo or Angelo Dawkins like the hitman of this new group, this new authoritarian group. That's what I want. That's wish number 1.
Interesting.
Wish number 1.
I think it's too interesting for WWE right now.
Yeah, whatever. Number 2, on the Monday Night Raw side, I want CM Punk to reinvent the Nexus using the next generation of NXT talent. So I want Seth Rollins to continue to run this group, this group that he's running, right? With Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed. And I want him to recruit a couple new people, maybe an Austin Theory and Ethan Page. And I want that group similar, if you kind of catch my rhythm here, I like authority groups.
Yeah.
But on this side, I'd like for the Authority group to be a little less powerful, and I'd like for CM Punk to go to NXT and recruit a new version of the Nexus. And the Nexus was a group of NXT people who came up to the main roster and kind of wreaked havoc.
I was literally about to ask you that.
I would like for CM Punk, he was at one time the leader of the Nexus. It would be fun to reinvent that group. You can involve Wade Barrett in a way because he was part of that group. But just to kind of generate some, I don't want it to be a babyface group, and I don't want it to be a heel group. I want to have the Authority faction or not the Authority faction, but the main faction, which would be Seth Rollins and his goons. And then I'd want CM Punk to be this kind of chaotic faction that is coming up and causing problems, right? Interfering in Seth Rollins matches, but not in a babyface way, almost in a way just to promote chaos. And then have CM Punk featured on NXT a lot more, because NXT could use a boost in ratings right now. They're back into this kind of dog fight with AEW, but it's all shit. It's all like they both have ratings around 500,000 views a week, which is not great. But I think if you move to someone like CM Punk, who I think you could spare off of Raw to NXT, right, to recruit these factions and then to time in and time out show up on Monday Night Raw and cause problems.
I think that's
be fun.
Great idea, because then it would cause people like me to watch NXT because I knew who was in there. Does that make sense?
Yeah, definitely. And I also like the idea of at some point Braun Breaker defecting from Seth Rollins and taking out CM Punk the way CM Punk kind of took out Wade Barrett, and then Braun Breaker becoming the new leader of this Nexus faction as world champion on Monday Night Raw, and you have Braun Breaker as leader, and then you can begin to sway that group more babyface.
Was Wade Barrett the leader of that
Wade
group?
Barrett was the original leader of Nexus, then CM Punk kind of came in and took the group away when they lost confidence in Wade Barrett. So you could run that same story and kind of recycle it.
All right.
But Paul Heyman could be instrumental in this, because once again, he could screw CM Punk a second time, which creates great storylines between CM Punk and Braun Breaker.
True.
That's my second wish. My third wish from the WWE genie is, I wish we could have power rankings.
Power Rangers?
Rankings.
Oh, I thought you said Power Rangers. I was like, what?
I wish there was some system, and this is not always a popular consensus among fans, but I wish there was a system where we knew that every match mattered. I want to know that when El Grande Americano fights Dragon Lee, that there's a point awarded for that victory, that it's not random, because so many matches on Raw and SmackDown are seemingly random, and they're forced to be tied into a story that they don't have to be tied into. Mm-hmm. It would be okay then on Monday Night Raw to take two random guys that have no storyline, and the storyline could seemingly be, this guy's number 5 on the power rankings, this guy's number 7, just like UFC, right? In UFC, the rankings just dictate what the next match is. And it's still scripted entertainment, so you can manipulate those any way you want to.
In the video game, is there rankings?
Kind of. In the video game, there are rankings, because it's the only system that kind of allows for a balance of, why is this happening? Now, you can always do the thing where, number 5 jumps the line, and that pisses off number 2, 3, and 4, right? Yeah. And now you've got stories intertwined. I just think power rankings make sense. You don't always have to follow them. You can play very fast and loose. I just like the idea of last year we did the 7-match series between Carmelo Hayes and Andrade, and it was really for what? It didn't matter, right?
I have no idea.
If every time they fought, they intertwined between this guy's number 3, now this guy's number 3, now this guy's number 3, it would add this interesting balance of who's going to come out with the better ranking. And WWE on a weekly basis, this is what they're missing out on. You could do a social media show where you announced the top 5 Intercontinental people this week. You could rearrange those rankings for no rhyme or reason, right?
True.
Here's the top 5 overall. Here's who's in contention for the World Heavyweight title. UFC does a good job of this. I think it could work, because what we have right now is we're stuck in this this world where Lyra Valkyria gets title shot after title shot after title shot after title shot, and it doesn't make fucking sense because on the flip side, the Street Profits lose the tag team titles, and they don't get they don't even get to be in the #1 contenders match.
Yeah.
That doesn't make sense. If you had rankings to explain that kind of stuff away, it would make more sense. So those are my 3 wishes if I had a magic WWE lineup. All right.